My name is Patty Kuglitsch, and I grew up in the state of Wisconsin. I went to the Wisconsin School for the Deaf, and started there from the age of 5 all the way to the time that I graduated. And upon graduation, I then went to Gallaudet and received my bachelor's degree in psychology, and then decided to get a master's in deaf education. And after I graduated, I was married at the time. I had a husband, and he was from the state of South Dakota, and he was a graduate of the South Dakota School for the Deaf, and he wanted to come back home, and so I followed him back here and applied at the South Dakota School for the Deaf, and sure enough, I got a job, and I was very honored and a privilege to have a job here. The school told me that I was the first deaf teacher to teach in the elementary program. In the past, they had always had hearing teachers, and I was one of the very first deaf teachers, and so that was also an inspiration. And just to share a little bit of my experience, some of my favorite experiences working with deaf children at that time. About that time, the school had a philosophy where they would establish some kind of a theme, and then you had to include everything around that theme: language and science and social studies, everything that pertained to that one theme. And so I selected the theme of pets, family pets. And so the children came up with all sorts of ideas and stories about pets, and they had to have to expand upon that. And the students would have to describe, what this pet would look like, and different characteristics, and what this pet did when it was behaving mischievously, or if you could train it to do tricks, or whatever the case would be. And so every student had a pet, and so we'd have to try to guess its weight and involve the math, which one of our pets was probably the heaviest of all the pets in the class. And the students decided to establish a pet shop. And so we had a store, and said, well, what if we sold that pet? And why do we think this pet would make a good pet? And why would people want to buy or adopt this kind of a pet? And we came up with all sorts of scenarios and stories. And then we even had a contest where we had to judge and try to pick which pet we would think would be the most beautiful kind of pet, or who would have the biggest pet, or all sorts of different things. And it was a lot of fun. And that was a fun experience, and probably one of the most memorable. Also, I encouraged the parents of deaf and hard of hearing children to use a similar approach and make students think about things, and to try to reason and so forth. And it helps establish a good bond or connection between parent and child. And so it was a lot of fun. And I would certainly suggest that parents do that today. I'd like to share another experience where at the School for the Deaf, they had a relationship with another organization called CSD, or Communication Service for the Deaf, and both groups partnered together to establish a youth program. And this would be for students who went to the School for the Deaf, as well as students who were mainstreamed in the public schools. And a lot of times the mainstream students felt maybe a bit isolated, or they didn't have an opportunity to get involved with activities, extracurricular types of programs. And so we thought we would create that kind of a venue for all the students and have them get together. And it was just an amazing experience for both groups to socialize and interact with each other. And some of the things that we did in our activities was that we helped encourage them and to learn how to be good citizens, and how to be future leaders, and how the meeting process works, and how to run meetings, and Robert's Rules of Order, and all sorts of different types of activities that they would actually take the lead on. And it was a great experience. It was an inspiring experience, and the socialization was great. And we had some very fun activities, and I don't know, at that time, a lot of these students were quite young, but now when you look at them as adults, and many of these people have just wonderful jobs. And just to give you an example, there was one student who is now the CEO of Communication Service for the Deaf in Austin, Texas. He was at the time a mainstream student, and he became a part of the youth program, and look where he's at today. He's a CEO of a company, he's running a nonprofit organization, and doing so many different things. And so that's just one good example of how important youth programs can be for some people and what an impact it makes on their lives. So we hope that there will be future opportunities to continue that same type of thing. We want our children today to have these kinds of experiences and to involve themselves with different functions and be good contributing citizens in our society. So I thank the School for the Deaf and CSD for starting that kind of a program back in the day, because it was just a wonderful thing. So thank you. Oh, actually, there was a number of different grades. It changed year to year. We had primary 1, 2, and then first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, and so I kind of moved in all sorts of different grades, one to the next. But the pet unit, I think I was second grade, and these kids were so cute. Yeah, I see quite a few graduates. A lot of graduates still continue to live in the area, but yeah, there's a number of them. Some have graduated, went on to college. A number have not come back because they found jobs elsewhere. But I think the wonderful thing is that you see a lot of students who graduated from SDSD and how successful they are.